Hi, everyone. Welcome to an introduction to statistics and data analysis. Here, we're going to be talking about several topics and first giving an introduction to data and statistics. So, we'll talk about the need for statistics, basic concepts in data, variable measurement, data types and associations, the data set and the data frame, sampling techniques, research method, and design, all broken down into several videos. So, let me ask you this. What does president fundraising of Joe Biden and Donald Trump, usability analysis, and honeybee decline all have in common? You guessed it, not much. But what they do have in common is that they are phenomena in the world. They are things, behaviors, processes in the world which are complex and which involve events or which involve counts, which involves money or which involves time and effort or which involves lives of several entities. And in this case, they're all areas in the world where numeric data, quantitative, systematic analysis can play a role and discover interesting information. We can compare average levels of fundraising between political candidates, or we can determine how many tasks are accomplished when somebody is using one system versus how many tasks are accomplished when somebody using another system. Or we can, for example, count how many bees have died in the past month or in the past year or in the past 10 years, and then observe if there is a decline or a sharp decline or a long, slow decline. And we can see if some species are dying faster than others or at different rates. So all of these complex phenomena in the world can be analyzed statistically, as we will see through this course.
So let's begin with a definition of statistics. Statistics is the study of how to collect, organize, analyze, and interpret numerical information from data. So there is a quantitative component of statistics. It's thought of as a kind of quantitative analysis, but statistics does involve also the use of categorical information. I call it the science of counting, or a quantitative approach to analysis, or the science of repeated events. And I put these terms here, counting and repeated events, because it is a kind of approach for generalizing information, taking repeated events and identifying general patterns that are observed across place and across time, and also finding causal relationships. And statistical analysis, by looking at multiple events of something happening or events happening over time or across people and situations, can help us generalize information, find truths about the world, including truths about cause and effect relationships. Here, there's actually some kind of diagrams that kind of depict this process of collecting, organizing. Collecting, first, you have to collect the information from the phenomena in the world, the processes, things, whatever kind of thing you're observing. They have to be stored in a database. They have to be organized in some format. There has to be some processing of the data, and there are models that need to be built to explain the associations between the variables, whether just associative or causal. And we'll be talking about this process throughout the course. Let's now talk about data. Data are the pieces of carefully precise and precisely acquired information. I like to define data as recorded information. It is the accurate and organized representation of the things, processes, or phenomena in the world that we may be concerned with. And often data are going to be presented or structured in this kind of two-dimensional format here of rows. We'll keep talking about this for a while in the beginning. Rows of records and columns of variables or attributes. There's some main concepts about data that we need to talk about here and that I want to get started for us. So the first one is the notion of an individual, or sometimes just called observation, or sometimes called individual observations. And these are the people, objects, or instances. More broadly, I keep using this term here, phenomena, just because phenomena kind of refers to both all the concrete or abstract things in the world. So, for example, things like emotion, pain, levels of pain, but also concrete things like buildings or bees, or even more kind of maybe half abstract, half concrete things like processes, such as migration or economic development. All of these can be kind of categorized or conceived as individual observations to be studied in data analysis. And the individual observations are going to be the units that we see in the rows of the tables that we're going to be working with. Observations in a table are measured at a specific observational unit. And this observational unit is very important to understand which observational unit you're dealing with. And usually each table is just going to have one observational unit. So for example, you may have a table of where the observational unit is a single bee, and the attributes, the variables, are the attributes of the bees. But perhaps each role or each observational unit could also be a colony of bees. So not a single individual bee, but a colony of bees. And in this case, then every row would refer to a colony of bees, and we would think of the colony of bees as the observational unit. The variables are the attributes observed in or of the individuals. So let's say we're working with bees. Individual bees have particular variables or qualities of interest, such as maybe color, speed at which they fly, number of legs, age, and so on. But also, if we're working with a different observational units, such as colony, then we're going to have different attributes. Maybe some of the same ones, but such as age, but some different ones, such as, well, how many bees are in the colony, and so on. And values are the values of the attributes of the individuals, quantitative or qualitative. So the values are the content in the individual cells of the tables. And when we talk about values, the values can be quantitative or qualitative or categorical. So just because we say value, don't assume it's quantitative. Values can also be qualitative. And I'll leave you with this for now, and we'll continue in the next video.